Okay. So how many of us actually believe that buying a pair of shoes or changing our Facebook status will make a difference? A story of kids being kidnapped or a picture of a malnourished child have the most emotional impact on us. However, we respond in the most minimal way. We know the bracelet will not save the child or end the famine, but we do it anyways. We do not want to ask if it's the most effective way to engage. The possibility that our meager efforts don't help and might even hurt is a tragedy we're unwilling to admit. However, it's far past time for us to ask ourselves if we are engaging in ways that actually make a difference. If I was asked to give this talk 5 years ago, I would have given a scathing critique of big organizations, how disconnected they are from the cause, and how inefficient they run. I would have talked about mismanaged monies and inappropriate efforts. While this all may still be true, it's ineffective to pass blame to big organizations without critiquing the way in which we give. The U.S. gives over $200 billion a year in aid. This is not the government spending on foreign aid, but what American civilians claim in taxable charitable giving. Apathetic giving, however, can cause damage where it's intended to do good. Today there are so many organizations and we have information overload. We are emotionally impacted by the stories we hear, and in this globalized world, everything seems much closer. We've recently seen with the explosion of Kony 2012 that an awareness campaign mixed with social media can create a critical mass. However, it's time to ask how we ignite this critical mass to create positive social change. Many of us become discouraged by the complexity of the situations and the uncomfortable reality of the state of the world. We do not approach the organizations and the cause appropriately. We do not critique the organization critically, but tear it apart at the organization's weaknesses, or absently donate $20 and tell ourselves we did all we could. We're not the experts, and we don't know best. However, let's be honest, this is a cop-out. We are a society glued to the internet with information literally at our fingertips. If we hear of a celebrity that has done something outrageous or a sports icon that is retiring, we are instantly on our phones consuming information. If our phone bill is over by $20, we're calling somebody and figuring out where that expense went. However, it is sickening that we could not investigate the latest organization or the latest cause with the same due diligence. I'm not asking you to comb annual reports or charity transparency sites, but there are simple things we can do to make a difference in the way we give. We can research the issue, know our organizations, and follow up on our contributions. There are many organizations out there that are holding themselves accountable. They report failures with the question of how to find help and presume the path to process, or the path to success. These organizations we should challenge to not be the exception, but the norm. However, I believe we can do better. We can turn awareness into action. Action is not putting on a bracelet, hanging a poster, or changing your status. These are all forms of awareness. Passive donating is also not action. I challenge you to look beyond giving to finding solutions. The solutions to the world's biggest problems will not necessarily be found in think tanks or in Ivy League schools. Practical solutions are harbored in individuals that are passionate and think creatively. The obvious path is not always the most effective. This creative thinking is what got me to where I am today. In high school, I did a report on charitable accountability. This laid the foundation for me to find my engagement when I got into my undergrad. I became passionate about the Civil War in Africa and was determined to find solutions to some of these huge problems. I spent my undergrad studying international relations and moved into my master's to study international development and conflict resolution. However, halfway through my master's degree, I was more lost than ever. Solutions seemed farther away. I was becoming apathetic. The solutions seemed too complex, and I was close to giving up. In these low spirits, I traveled to Uganda for the summer. And while there, I learned from orphans of the war in northern Uganda that the capacity to rebuild lies in the youth's resilience. It was so apparent by the way they danced, sang, and made art that a peaceful future was founded in the past, the rich culture of the people. So here I am, an international development and conflict resolution student, learning from kids how to stop the fighting. And it wasn't at roundtable discussions or through economic sanctions or even through armies of weapons flooding the region. It was through rebuilding the community through the arts, rebuilding a country through one dance, one photograph, and one sculpture at a time. So please take a moment and think of when you were recently passionate about a cause you learned about. We all have a unique skill set that, when used creatively, can find solutions to some of the world's greatest problems. Today, I would like to challenge you to engage differently in the causes that you're passionate about, to ask questions, think creatively, and take action. Thank you.